Women don't give a fuck about being married anymore. They have no interest in having a husband. They have dealt with enough men in their lifetime to say, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want no part of this. Y'all can have it. I choose peace. Women have got to a point in this world that they would rather not ever be married or not ever be near a fucking man again, because they know that trauma, drama, bullshit, lies, excuses, and empty promises are attached to a man. They would rather live their lives in peace with their dogs and their cats and absolutely never have to deal with the bullshit a man brings to them. All the lies, all the bullshit, all the pain, all the sorrow, all the suffering. They don't want to deal with it anymore. They would rather be alone. They want to come home. They want to kick their shoes off from a day of work or wherever the fuck they've been. And they want to kick their shoes off. They want to go in the kitchen. They want to pour themselves a glass of wine, have a cocktail, have a sparkling water. They want to go to their couch. They want to kick their feet up. They want to watch their favorite show. Or they want to sit there and read a motherfucking book in peace and sit with their cat and their dog and not have to hear anything that a man has to offer or has to say to her. Women don't give a fuck about being married anymore. I love you. Hope this helps some of you.
Some women are out here asking, I believe because they need answers. They have gone through it and they are coming out to ask the question, is marriage worth it? Hello guys and welcome back. How are you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. Let's sit down patiently and let's watch this so we can learn from each other. You know, when they put it on the internet, we bring it down here, then we chit chat about it. We had our comment. Credit to the creators for giving us this opportunity to add our comment. Let's go down there in the comment section if you can. Let's make this conversation interesting and educational. I'm going to be rolling your clips because the women are coming out because they've been through it. They have gone through the marriage and maybe some are still in, some are out, and they are asking like, is it worth it? I will roll you some tapes and we are gonna add more commentary at the end of it. Go down there in the comment section. Is marriage worth it? Let's roll the tapes.
It's just not worth it dealing with someone else every single day of your life. Every day. Every day you gotta deal with somebody. It's always best to just be alone. I've been married for about 7 years. I'm just like not thinking that I made the right decision. And I am a good man. I don't know if I want to continue doing this every single day of my life. Like always checking in with someone, always having to consider their feelings. It's always somebody else. You're never alone.
Although I genuinely feel like your feelings are valid, then this conversation would have been better suited offline with your partner, with a marriage counselor, with a therapist, with a diary or a journal, especially if this is your husband's first time finding out how you really feel about him and your marriage. You look and sound overstimulated. Like you may need to just take a step back, take a little break, go on a staycation, a vacation, go on a girls trip with your friends, but don't make a permanent decision based on a temporary feeling. You said yourself, he's perfect, and I don't know why I'm not happy. Speak to a professional to see exactly what it could be. It doesn't even have to be him or the marriage. But because he's the only one there, you might be blaming him. You said he's an amazing man. Do you have a history of self-sabotage? Do you feel like you deserve that amazing man? You said sometimes it's just good to be alone. Are you trying to self-isolate? Are you suffering from depression and you don't want him to see you be sad? But he's always there, so you can't cry in front of him. You can't mope in front of him. You can't listen to sad songs and sad music in front of him because you don't want him to see you sad. Your channel name is Diary of a Happy Black Woman, but you don't look happy to me. How long you been pretending? All I'm saying is, before you assume that all your sad feelings are because of your husband and your marriage, make sure it's not something else.
You 10 women who were married at one point that are now divorced, and I asked them what their biggest regret or realization was during or after the divorce, and these were a lot of answers that they all had in common. There was one answer in specific that all 10 women gave me, and that answer was, I wish I would have ended it a lot sooner. They said that they did literally everything in their power to hold the marriage together, and in the process of trying to keep one person so much, they ended up losing themselves. A lot of the women who I spoke to said that they wish they would have had the courage to confront the issues instead of just avoiding them and putting them off to the side for the sake of the marriage. Another realization that a lot of these women had was that they realized that being a wife doesn't define them as a woman. and they regretted not having a lot more autonomy. These women who were married at one point told me that their entire identity rested upon their role of being a wife to her husband, and every single thing that they did was in service to him. They were catering to him because they thought that that was their role as a woman. A lot of these women told me that it was an unhealthy dynamic because they had put their power into someone else's hands, completely forgetting about their own hobbies, interests, and passions in life. A few of these women also told me that they had wished they had taken accountability instead of finding somebody to blame and pointing the fingers at somebody else. They were so busy caught up trying to find someone to blame instead of looking within. One of the women who told me that was 46 years old. She got married when she was 21, so she was fairly younger and more immature, but she told me that she realized in order for things to work out, both parties must take accountability, and she said she never really did. So that's one big realization as well. Another huge regret from a lot of these women was that they wished they would have stood up for themselves when necessary. They were too busy validating their husband's emotions, his feelings, his wants, his needs, his desires, putting him before her, and in the process they were neglecting their own needs, their own wants, their own desires, and their own feelings, to the point where they began shrinking themselves and feeling invisible. And 6 out of those 10 women who I interviewed said that their biggest regret in marriage was marriage. They regretted getting married because they had this idea of being a traditional wife to a traditional husband, where they didn't realize how much they were going to neglect themselves and put the husband in superiority to everyone in the house. I asked these 6 women if they would ever consider remarrying ever again, and they all said no. They would not marry ever again because it was too draining, and they're not willing to go through something like that ever again in their lives.
Ladies, this is your friendly reminder to never, ever, ever idolize another woman's relationship or marriage. A lot of women who are in relationships with men post in order to gloat and in order to let the rest of us know that they have something that we do not have. But they won't tell you the truth behind the scenes. They won't tell you how they're being abused and mistreated at home. They won't tell you how their man has been a POS since day one. But what they will do is post the highlight reels to social media so that you feel like you are missing out on something. Never, ever, ever be jealous of another woman's relationship or marriage, because most of them are only posting a pretty facade that looks good. They will never tell you the real truth about what's happening in their relationship, and they damn sure won't come back and update you and let you know that everything was a lie. These women be suffering behind closed doors and getting tortured by their man. Meanwhile, you're at home feeling bad because you feel like you're missing out, because you feel like you just haven't found the one yet. Do not feel bad about being single, because most of the women who post on social media to show off their relationships are living a lie as soon as they put that phone down.
Credit to this lady right here. We need to take a pause on what she said. Go down there in the comment section and add your comment on this section. There's so many couples, so many relationship, ladies, even guys. They are looking at another person's relationship. They are using it to judge their relationship, thinking that person's relationship or marriage is better, it's perfect than theirs. I do not think so. And I think she nailed it. It is worth having a conversation on. Like, no marriage, no couples, no relationship is perfect. We just have to keep working on our relationship if it can be worked on. But for y'all to say, can't you see what my neighbor is doing? Our marriage is so perfect. His marriage is so perfect. What are you doing wrong? No, their marriage is not perfect. They are just working on their imperfection. Let's keep watching.
If I had to give your younger self any advice, what would it be?
Obey my mother. I finished high school at 16, and she had planned to send me from Fort Worth back to Marshall, Texas, to Wiley College, because I would have been the first grandchild of her 18 sisters and brothers to go to college. But I got married. Oh, she was so disappointed. And it took me 4 years and 4 babies to realize I was going to have to raise my husband too. So I cut my losses. I went home to my mother. And do you know, I had nerve enough to say, I'm ready to go to college now. And she says, I got no money to send you to nobody's college.
These are the boomers. These are the people who are the parents of the older millennials. these men come out and they talk about how, oh, there were so much more marriages. I've been studying marriage trends and how it's on a downturn and has been on a decline since the silent generation. The silent generation were before the boomers. The boomers were before Generation X, and then we have the millennials. The boomers are the ones who gave birth to the older millennials. They try to make it seem as if our grandmothers were so damn happy, the women that came before us, that the reason why marriages lasted so much longer is because people were happier then. No. And this is part of the reason that there's so many men right now who are making a push to talk about trying to go back to the times of the 1950s and taking women's rights away.
We need to regain control of women again, the way it used to be in the 1950s.
Because they know that when women are able to choose, they choose differently. When women are able to work, control their fertility or contraceptives to stop themselves from becoming impregnated. This is part of the reason that they're creating all of these laws right now to try to force births onto women, because societies across the world, Japan doesn't even know if it's going to be a country in another 150 years, because women are giving birth to so few babies, because when they were able to make the choice, even women that they're talking about, oh, Asian women are so submissive, and that gomenasai, and the whole geisha mindset that so many people think that Japanese women are supposedly supposed to be in nowadays. Even they are opting out of marriage. They're opting out of even cohabitating or having children. They're like, listen, there was a study that was done that single child-free women are the happiest women in society. Why is that? Psychology Today had that article that went viral, that there's a growing number of single, lonely men. Why is that? Why is it that men are not investing in themselves, making themselves suitable mates? They don't want to change. They want you to shut the F up. Last night, we talked about that therapist that was fired. She went viral for telling Black men that they need to get therapy and work on their communication skills in relationships so that they can have healthy relationships.
You need to expand your emotional vocabulary. It's so your life can be easier. To elevate our standards. At the cost of us elevating y'all standards, y'all got axed. Because y'all didn't elevate. On Monday, telling men that their dusty behavior is only harming them and that they would benefit from emotional intelligence. And I shit you not, by Friday, didn't have employment.
Get mad because they've been conditioned to believe that it should be our honor and our duty and our joy in life to be their wives. And they truly think that there's so much benefit in marriage for women and there's not enough benefit for the man. But the contrary has been my experience. I've seen that, whether or not it was beneficial for him, I can't really say, but I can honestly say that I'm doing a lot better now that I'm not married. And when I say I'm doing a lot better, I mean just that the state of my nervous system is way more relaxed. I don't feel in fear, and I'm not always clenching and avoiding and tensing. And this was I'm not saying that this was all he's doing, because some of it was my previous patterns, but I definitely think that living with someone who has even just like small negative things to say about you, even if they don't verbalize it, it will be communicated non-verbally through their actions and through the way that they talk to you. And I feel as though as human beings, we're not meant to live under the same roof with someone who doesn't really vibe with us, like with someone who has some real criticisms about who we are as a person. Like, that takes energy out of us, even if we aren't able to acknowledge it.
A surprising amount of people walk down the aisle knowing they shouldn't, have absolutely had reservations. I am that very rare person who has absolutely no desire whatsoever to be in love. And that may sound very alien to you and our listeners.
Yeah.
But I think there are many more people like me, or people who would realize they were like me if they really stopped to think about it. I would encourage everybody, again, to look into yourselves and ask yourself, what would really make me happy? Strip out of your head everything your parents want for you, everything your friends are currently doing simultaneously around you, like all getting engaged and married at the same time, or all having kids or whatever. Strip out what popular culture keeps telling you you should be aspiring to, going after, should be the be-all and the end-all. Take all of that out of consideration and ask yourself what would really make me happy. Because you may find it is absolutely not to get married. It is not to have children. It is not to necessarily find your soulmate. There are obviously people for whom marriage works brilliantly. But if they'd stopped to think about it in the first place, they might have gone, I'm not sure this is what I really want to do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, marriage does not hit the same way like it used to. We used to always put marriage on a pedestal, like, oh, these people been married for 30, 40, 60 years. It's so amazing. It's so great. He must be an amazing husband. And the whole time, he's one of the most abusive people. I'm not saying that all men are abusive. I'm not saying that marriage is completely void, like we should just avoid it completely. But it just doesn't hold the same weight. I think a lot of women are waking up to the fact that we were sold a fantasy. We were sold this lie that if we just get married, we'll feel good about ourselves, we'll be provided for, we'll have everything we need, including good self-esteem, that a lot of women just blindly follow this fantasy without taking into consideration if she's financially stable, if she knows who she is. Like, did you even try to reach your dreams and goals before you completely drowned your mind out with marriage and a wedding? You get what I'm saying? And I've seen many women who have been able to balance all the things. They're married, they have the children, they have the career, they have their husband. So I know it's possible. But when we as women become so focused and zoomed in on marriage, gotta get a ring. Oh, when you get married, when you having kids, it's almost like they're pressuring you, or you feel pressured to prove yourself, to prove that you're worthy enough as a woman to be chosen by a man. And it's just like, I do believe, and I know for a fact that there are loving, kind men, respectable men out there. But just to say you need to get married just to be married, or you need to get a husband and stuff like that, it's not worth it. It's not worth the pressure. You know what I mean?
What's your thought on this topic? Do you think marriage is worth it? Drop a comment down there if you can. And if you think it's not worth it, drop a comment as well down there if you can in the comment section. Let's make this interesting. Let's make this educational. Credit to the creators for giving us this opportunity to add our comment. I am gonna say, back in the days, marriage, that was so easy compared to the marriage of now. When we are talking of back in the days, we are talking of, the days of our grandparents. Yeah, I know they settled down early, like the age of 17, 18, 19, 20. They are mostly settled. That's why when we ask our grandparents how long have they been together, they're going to tell us they've been together for 50, 60, 70, 80 years because they settled early. Let us not forget, back in the days as well, our grandmom, the only achievement they expect the woman to have then was just to settle down, to be missing somebody. So the pressure of any other thing was not too much on them. They just got to be missing somebody because they were not even given the opportunity to have access to so many things that we, their daughters, are having right now. So now fast forward to now, the marriage of now, where the women, sometimes they are the breadwinner, sometimes they are the the CEO, they're educated, they are the boss lady. Now they want to juggle that with being a mom and a wife. I think that's where the pressure is coming from. How do you see it? Add your own thoughts. Let's make this conversation, you know what I mean? Let's make it better, make it educational. And I am going to leave you with this next clip right here. In all, do not forget what one of the creators said. No marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. Just work on it if it's workable. See therapy if it's needed. And make your life, your health is important. Let's listen to this next clip, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
How old are you?
Going to be 89 in 2 months.
What is a big mistake that you have made or a big regret you have that you learned a valuable lesson from?
My biggest mistake was picking my husband. I got divorced at a very, very early age. Was a single mother for 30-odd years. Be careful who you pick to spend your life with. At my age, we met our boyfriends at 16, 17. Today, people are getting married at 30 and 32 and have a career, and then they have a family. He didn't know any better. Today's women, I think, are a little smarter.
What is love to you, if you're to define that?
If you respect another person and you support another person, I think that's a lot of love.
If you could go back in time, knowing what you know today, give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say to her?
Don't get married. Live your life. Do whatever you want. Just enjoy your life.